Well, good morning, and welcome to Morning Gospel Fuel with Mr. G. It is Friday, August 13th, the 19th Friday of Ordinary Time, and it is the feast day of Saint Pontian. He was a pope as well as a martyr. He was the Bishop of Rome from July 2030 to July 230. 2030 would be a little interesting. To September of 235. And then, so in 235, during the persecution of Christians, and during the reign of Emperor Maximus Thrax, the Pope Pontian, he was arrested and sent to the island of Sardinia, which I believe is in Italy, and he resigned at that arrest so that they could make an election of a new pope possible, because he knew how important that seat was. Then they took him to that island, and they eventually killed him for being Christian and the Pope. So yeah, it is his feast day today, and today's gospel is from Matthew chapter 19, verses 3 through 12. Let's begin in the name of the Father, Son, and Spirit. Amen. Some Pharisees approached him and tested him, saying, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for any cause whatever?" He said in reply, "Have you not read that from the beginning the Creator made them male and female, and said, 'For this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh'? Therefore, what God has joined together, no human being must separate." They said to him, "Then why did Moses command that the man give the woman a bill of divorce and dismiss her?" He said to them, "Because of the hardness of your hearts, Moses allowed you to divorce your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. I say to you, whoever divorces his wife and marries another commits adultery." His disciples said to him, "If that is the case of a man with his wife, it is better not to marry." He answered, "Not all can accept this word, but only those to whom that is granted. Some are incapable of marriage because they were born so, some because they were made so by others, some because they have renounced marriage for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. Whoever can accept this ought to accept it." All right, so we've got marriage and divorce, a hot topic in society throughout all of history, not just now, but all of history. We all know the importance of marriage and why the church recognizes it as a sacrament, because it is a sacrifice, which unfortunately many people don't accept, because we all know how high the divorce rate is. And I think that's why. But then also, a man shall leave his father and join his wife. Talking about the beginning of making male and female. That's why God created female from the man, or woman from the man, because we're meant to be in union with each other for marriage. But he says that, but he also pinpoints and focuses how hard it is. That if you can't stick to that sacrament, if you can't stick to that marriage, then it's best not even to get married. Like, that's how important Jesus is talking about marriage here. Even going back to the Old Testament with Moses. He said anybody that can accept this ought to accept it. He said that some are incapable of others. It even mentioned about people renouncing marriage for the kingdom. It also mentions in the footnote about those who have been castrated, and other stuff like that. But either way, we all know how important marriage is and how important the family structure is. Then if you're married, I'm sure you know how difficult marriage is. It can be, if we allow it. And I think that's our focus for today. Is if you're married, or if you're engaged, making sure you do your due diligence, and your research, and your dating, and be intentional with dating. Dating, you should only date to get married. Otherwise, you shouldn't be playing with people's hearts. So dating to get married is key. But then also, once you are married, is of just enjoying the ride and the journey together. Because people change as they get older, and that's part of the journey. Your wife or your husband on your marriage date is not going to be the same wife and husband that you have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road. People change. And that's why married couples are encouraged to constantly go on dates and constantly get to know each other and learn about each other and put that marriage first rather than, prioritizing the kids. Because, it should go, as we all know, we've heard this before, the order of which we should prioritize things is God, spouse, children. And if it's in that proper line, everything else will fall into place. But how many times do people invert that and go children, spouse, God, and then things go downhill, and then we get the high divorce rate which we have. That's at least my 2 cents on it. But otherwise, the challenge today is if you're married, live in such a way that you make marriage attractive to young people. The way that you speak about your spouse, the way that you treat your spouse. Because we know the world needs more strong Christian marriages, and we need to have that witness that makes marriage attractive for young people so that they can commit to that. So, with all that being said, have a great day. God bless, and keep it real. In the name of the Father, Son, and Spirit, amen.